Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? This disciple Marshall Occurrence, also known as Rain, also known as War Pony, the spiritual war horse, the spiritual workhorse. So, this is going to be a prophetic shift in season message where there's a shift going on because the line needs to be drawn in the sand that God's people, true spiritual people, are not a part of no divination, no witchcraft, no well, I'm just using my vibration to do these things. I'm just meditating. No. Uh-uh. Well, I'm just seeing what this person's mind is like. No. That's divination. See, what people haven't made clear is that the telepathy part, the psychic spies that the American community is using, they've been using psychic spies in the CIA for a long time. I'm not stupid of that. I'm not ignorant of that. Okay, the psychic spies that you've been using, that's a form of divination. When you use them against a prophet, that is a curse to your community. Look, the best way to tell you this is this way. You cast out curses, you automatically instantaneously get curses for just playing around this atmosphere. That's why I stayed. That's why I stayed in this. If people don't know why I stayed here, I could have been left based on realizing the games that they playing in this building. The only reason I stayed was not because I was stupid and I didn't know what was going on. I knew what was going on the first couple months I was here. I already knew what was going on. Then I went into the neighborhood and I knew what was going on in there. um, the reason why I stayed was because I knew that I was buying these people. I'm buying them. Just like a gangster, I'm purchasing you. I'm putting, like a gangster put money in your head and buy you. I'm buying you, but I'm buying you by letting you do what you're doing, and that's the price that's paid for your life. I paid the price to have your life. Okay, so this is the message of uh, the war against witch nation, the war against witch nation, witchcraft nation, and like I have to make it very clear because I think some people think in America with having spiritual gifts, they're some way connected to the divine side. That's what they're taught in America. There's so much miseducation that it's not even funny. You know what I'm saying? But a true spiritual seasoned person that really belongs to God would tell you that there's spirituality on both sides. Okay, there's spirituality on God's side, and there's limited spirituality in the satanic kingdom. Okay, so a spiritual gift doesn't indicate that someone is of God. Okay, and that's how people in America been doing it. You think because you have a spiritual gift, they're taught, well, God is giving you this gift, and God is with you, and God is no, 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 no. The devil grooms his people too with spiritual, and he twists spiritual gifts in kids. So by the time their eyes are open to the world, he has already done what he needed to do. He twists gifts within children. He doesn't wait till you become an old rusty man or woman and then start working on you. He works on people as kids. And by the time you become an adult, you have a twisted gift of telepathy or psychic energy. And that explains the spiritual mutated gift. The devil can't make spiritual gifts, but he can mutate. He can twist and mutate things. Okay? So he twisted and mutated all these psychic spies that they got around here that the government might be using or some secret societies are using. All these psychic spies, that you're using are people that were worked on from a kid that had by the Satanic Kingdom, where the Satanic Kingdom twisted their gifts and twisted these spiritual gifts that they have, and they think it's from God. It's not from God. God wouldn't. This is how you know God wouldn't give you the ability to read someone's mind. So it's like having a disease, okay? Unless you are a prophet, you will not see. I stayed the course. This is why I still have the ability to know what people are thinking, but I haven't been. My gifts hasn't been twisted. I just elevated in my gift of being able to read what's going on. It's still active, but it's active on the divine side without a twisting, without divination, without meditations and enchantments. Okay, so I know very well what I'm talking about. See, you think that these people think that you are another ignorant person that don't know about spirituality. I'm not one of those people. I come from North Carolina, where spirituality on both sides are very heightened. Okay, it's just like New Orleans. What people don't know about Charlotte in North Carolina, as far as spirituality, it's second in line as far as spirituality. It's second in line, and you would only notice if you were a very highly spiritual person. Spirituality is, you know, just as New Orleans has spirituality, North Carolina we have spirituality. Just as New Orleans has spirituality, we have spirituality in North Carolina that heightened, where it's witchcraft and it's in the neighborhoods and black neighborhoods and everything. We call them root doctors or people putting roots on you or something like that. That's what we call hoodoo, which is witchcraft, a form of witchcraft. Okay, so understand, I am not new to it. I come from a region where witchcraft is normal. This is why I was not able to be defeated, because what I believe is well, the reason why I wasn't able to be defeated is because God, the Christ, God, the Christ, and the Holy Ghost is in my life. Okay, that's why. I grew up in the city where witchcraft is at, just like New Orleans has witchcraft, significant amounts of it, right? So Charlotte has a significant amount of witchcraft too, and we we are groomed. We interact. Let me put it like this: there's a spiritual immunity that comes, I believe, with being walking among witches and warlocks when you live in a place like New Orleans and you live in a place like Charlotte. You grow up around it. So there's a spiritual immunity where God protects you around witches and warlocks because you're always constantly around it without even knowing. Without even knowing. Okay, so I'm not spooked by it. I heard about it from the time I was a kid. Okay, so by the time I came into my prophetic gift, I've already I'm bloomed as a prophet. I already was aware of like the witchcraft community from the time I was a kid. So it's not like something that I have to totally be introduced to. And I went and did my own research. And I seen real witches and real warlocks that really manifest, you know what I'm saying? As opposed to people that use telepathy and mind reading and stuff like that. I didn't need anybody to win this war. That's what, let me help you understand this. For me, I have already won, right? I didn't need anybody to do it. And I don't think, just like some people might not think witchcraft is real, people might not think that prophets are real. It's the same thing. Some people like it go in the higher you go up the food chain, spiritually speaking, because witches are not on the top of the food chain. Okay, we are as God's people, which makes sense. How are we gonna be on the bottom of the food chain? We're on the top of the spiritual food chain. God's prophets is on the top of the spiritual food chain, right? But it just like with how people don't believe in witchcraft, it's people that don't believe in us. It's people that don't believe in the prophetic gift and how powerful it really is. And we get it like just like a witch or a warlock would take advantage of people. I can take it. I'm not taking advantage of you necessarily, but militarily speaking, I guess in the sense of that in that context, you're taken advantage of because you play around something as a witch. Ironically, just like um, people might play around with witches or something, or be unaware of witches, and the witch gets advantage. It's the same thing with me, with witches playing with me. You don't know what you're not aware of what you're playing with. You're into it's too late. You're not aware that there's higher levels than witchcraft, and you're not aware that as you sleep on what I'm telling you, that I'm going to get full advantage of you. I'm going to take full advantage of you, militarily speaking. And that's what everything consists of right now. I've been taking full advantage of witches and warlocks. Everything they've been doing, I've been getting victory. I've been paying the price. I stay right here and I let them do whatever they do every day. And every day there's destruction on the news. The news is the results and the numbers, if you don't know. In this war, I don't play games, right? I don't play contests. I'm at war. I admit to being at war. Yeah, I'm at war. I'm not in the contest. And you can act like it's a contest as far as another definition of war. I'm educated to know that contest can be considered a word of war. You're not producing any numbers to be at war with me. Okay, you're not producing numbers on my caliber to be at war with me. You are the witch community that are just glad to use your witchcraft gifts, and you don't realize that every time you use it, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for every single time you use it. And just like I've explained before, you got people that get guns and they want to shoot the guns. It's the same thing with witchcraft. They get witchcraft and they want to use it on somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the wrong person to get happy to use it on. And your little witch community thought they were using it on me, and now you're stuck. Now the world has changed because of all the witchcraft you used in this atmosphere, and now you're frustrated like a loser, and you don't care if you live or die. And that's another win for us, because at first you wasn't like that. At first you was not ready to die and giving up and all of it. Now, see, I won. I won. Look at you now. Look at you now. You're ready to die, aren't you? That's what you get for playing with a prophet. The difference is I manifest on a higher level than you. Let's talk their language for a minute. Not with no compromise, without compromise, right? I can manifest on a higher level to where I can manifest nationally and internationally. This is why you don't play with it. Now you see. Now you see, right? And I know you don't believe it, but you should. I mean, look at your news. Back to the news. The news is we don't care what they talking about in these ghetto chicken eating politics. We don't care about that. We care about manifestations on the news. The news is the numbers. The news is determining. If you don't know, the news is determining everything that's going on it determines the whole battlefield. Okay, when you're at war, there's a battlefield, right? Okay, the battlefield is America. It's not East Amherst. I don't have a small mind, a minute mind, right? If you have a minute mind, you might think that the battlefield is East Amherst. You're not even listening. You're not even a quarter of the battlefield. You're really not. The battle. Don't flatter yourself. The battlefield is America. The whole thing. The whole thing. Not a neighborhood, not East Amherst. Definitely not East Amherst. That's ridiculous. Okay, so the news shows us what's going on in the battlefield all across the country. That's where I'm manifesting at. The whole battlefield, not just East Amherst, the whole battlefield. I'm taking care of that too. And we're not intimidated by all the people they got. We're taking care of that. That's not stopping my faith. That's not lowering my faith. There's more to do and there's more to focus on based on the past. Because what people don't want to recognize is that these witches and warlocks have been using witchcraft against me from California to Florida to North Carolina, 3 other states. And so I'm left with no choice but to attack nationally. And I already have that capability. So, and it's all by spiritual means. When you look at the news, you're going to see all the results. That's all the results right there. Every time you turn on the news and you see kids dying, you see aunties dying, you see people dying, that's the battlefield. I have to say this because if you're not focused on the news, if you're on God's side, you need to be able to see everything clearly for how it is. Okay, America is the battlefield. We're not caught up in some neighborhood. We're not caught up in New York. We're the whole country is the battlefield. The manifestations of God's power is, unfortunately for them, the deaths of their community. That's the wins. That's the manifestations. That's where we're winning. Okay, you don't go to war and then expect not the enemy to die. You don't go to war and not expect them to have manifestations against their community. You don't go to war and don't think they're going to die. They're going to die. Okay? Now, you're either a fake soldier or you're a real soldier. Okay? Well, they're going to die. So all the things that you see on the news that's upticking all of a sudden is the manifestations of God's wrath against the battlefield in America. That's all God's power, buddy. That's not the devil. That's not the devil. That's not the devil. That is not the devil. It's too upticked everywhere. All of a sudden. Look at the seasons. Look how compressed all these things are together. The reason why is because of the season before this, where they were attacking God's prophet and God's people. If you're in a season where all these things are starting to happen to your community, it's because, like it is now, where all this death is happening and all this stuff is happening, right? The reason why that's happening is because the season before this, they were doing evil. They were doing evil. They were doing witchcraft. They were doing all kind of stuff, right? So the next season is wrath. The next season is destruction. That's why it's our time. That's why we're not paying attention to none of them, because you can see the season. The season tells you everything. The season before this, whether it was 2 or 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, the season before this seasons sometimes are not just 3 months. It could be years, it could be a decade, it could be a century. But in this case, let's just say their season ended in 2019. 2020, since 2020, it's been our season. It's been God's season. That's why they got COVID, they got everything that's going on. Now it's our time. They're trying to breathe in the middle of all this warfare that's coming against them. You understand? They're never doing anything. They lost back in 2019. Once God started destroying them in 2020, it's been on ever since. They can't even breathe. They can't get a chance to show you nothing they doing, because now they're reaping everything they sowed from the previous season. From 2019 and back, they're getting everything from those times. That's what it is. And they're still reaping for the things that they're doing now. On top of that, but foundationally, they're reaping from 2019 and back. Okay, so we're manifesting nationally. So you have to look at the news to see the wins. You can't look and stand outside and see the wins because they're gonna be gang stalking and arrogance, acting like they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. Okay, so what you have to do to get the truth of how we're winning in the battlefield and real indication of the battlefield without people bluffing and fronting, you know what I'm saying? You have to go and look in the news that's reported, and you see all these killings. You see all that's the wins because this is the enemy. Okay, this is what the witch nation paid for. They put witchcraft out against God's people. Now you got death everywhere you look. Now you see what I'm saying? That's why I'm constantly watching the news because that's where the battlefield is. That's where the winds are. That's where the curses are backfiring that the witches are throwing. It's backfiring and going into the people's, into the whole community. It's backfiring and ending up in California. The witchcraft done in New York is backfiring and ending up down south. Now you see what I'm saying? It's not backfiring and ending up only in New York. It's backfiring and ending up in Florida, in Texas, in California. It's everywhere. Midwest, everywhere. That's why you see all this stuff upticking, all this stuff, all this crazy stuff upticking, because of all the witchcraft that witchcraft country threw against God's community. It's not. Listen, if you was a real witch, I don't even respect American witchcraft because they just use it. They just use it. You don't just use witchcraft. That's like just using a gun. You don't just use a gun. You have to understand the rules and the regulations. Because if you play and use it with the wrong people, there's detriment. Even with another witch, if you use it on the wrong witch, because what Christians might not know is that they use witchcraft against each other, right? Okay, if you use it against the wrong witch, you use witchcraft against the wrong witch, you got a problem. It's a problem, and it ain't gonna stop depending on that witch and how she operates. You might be good as dead. It may be no mercy given, and it's the same thing with me. I guess they thought because I was a Christian, and to them that means some conservative person that puts on a suit and goes into a church. That's what a Christian is to you. It's not a certain style of dressing to me. It's not a certain style of music either. A Christian is a spiritual person that's Christ-like. Christ-like, that's what Christian means. But in the mind and the psyche of in the subconscious of the Americans, a Christian means someone that you envision someone with a suit on going to church. That's not what I am. Now you see your problem. You played with you played with someone who can manifest on a national level, and you have to show respect or die. That's simple as that. Just like you deal with the wrong witch, you dealt with the wrong prophet. And there's no Christian that can get you off my head. I mean, get me off your head. There's no Christian that can get me off your head. Not at all. I don't care who you bring in. You can bring in anybody. And I'm going to show them the legalities and the technicalities of the reason why I'm attacking. It ain't nothing they can say. It's nothing they can say. All they can say is, well, I hope your heart changes. I hope that something along those lines. Well, I hope you have a change of heart. I don't need to have a change of heart. I need justice. Okay, see, it comes to a point where when people play with the community, it's a matter of justice, not even warfare. So you got two different dynamics going on in my situation. You got warfare and a need of justice, and I'm gonna take care of both of it. I'm gonna take care of both of it. I need justice, and you ain't looking at it like that, and I am. Okay, I need justice, and I need warfare brought against my enemies. I'm going to see both of it done in the name of the Lord. Okay, that's where we at. It's a matter of justice with me. Nah, you sit up and accuse me nationwide. I want justice. I want you, and how I'm gonna get it is I'm gonna take as many people as humanly as divinely possible, and there's no limitations divinely. So that means y'all gonna go. Okay, that's the simple as that. I gave you. Listen, the olive branch is you being able to have an option. of getting my money. That is the olive branch. The olive branch is not me shaking your hand, and the olive branch is not between me and you. It's not me being nice to you or you being nice to me. The extended olive branch is that you have an option besides being destroyed. If you look at it like a thug, a gangster, and you going to get a bag for them, then you ain't gonna never do it. I am a prophet. I told you this money is monetary justice. Because I'm black and I understand the streets and everything, you might look at this, and I told you a million times, this is not the streets. This is not gangsterisms. This is a prophet that needs monetary justice. If you don't know what monetary means, go look up the word monetary. Oh no, I have to say this because some people don't know what it means. This is monetary justice. Okay, and that's what it is. You're not going back and forth with me. That's ridiculous. Look at the news. You think you're going back and forth with me? You can't be serious. That's now. Let me address that part. These witches and warlocks think you think you're going back and forth with me. Well, where's the back and forth part at? Where's the back and forth at? Where's the tit for tat? Where's your tat to my tit? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I see your president almost getting his head blown off. That's what I see. I see Joe Biden dropping out of the race. I see you have no competent presidents. I see bird flu on the horizon. I see COVID-19 upticking in the summertime. I see children as young as 3 years old dying, getting killed. I see black women a black woman getting shot down by police. That's what I see. You ain't going back and forth with me. You're in a fantasy world, hoping that you can kind of get a Hail Mary, no pun intended, because we know you ain't part of any type of part of Hail Mary. You hoping to get some type of witchcraft Hail Mary where you can kind of get some fluke and it ain't gonna work. That's superhero stuff. That's DC Comics. You ain't getting nothing here. I'm too far gone. I'm way ahead of you. Look at your community. Look at your country. That's the battlefield, not East Amherst. You're a fool. You're not evil. You're a fool. That's what a king will call you. That's what a master will call you. You're not evil. You're a fool. You put your whole community in harm's way to try to prove a point to a prophet. You're never going to prove a point to me. You're never going to be tougher than me. No one's ever going to give you that. No one is ever going to say that they're tougher than him. No. And I'm one man too on top of that. You'll never get it. No one's going to ever give that to you. Okay, so this play, show and tell time has already came and went, buddy. You did nothing. I did it. We did everything over here. That time is gone. You can't keep up. I guess you can you? I guess you think it's the same since last year, don't you? Do it look like it's the same since last year? You got a major war over in Israel right now. How many people have died? 39,000. Huh? 39,000 people dead and counting. You can't be serious. You're nowhere near me, man. Stop playing with me, man. And so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to break down the difference between a prophet, which I've already done basically. I've basically summarized it, but we're going to go into the wiring of the difference between a prophet and a witch. Because see, it's glamorized. This witch stuff is glamorized in Hollywood. And the truth is, it can't get much done in the spiritual world. Let's call it how it is. It can't really get much done. Okay? People think that witchcraft is very, 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 very powerful. But it comes to the individual that's using it and what they know and what they don't know. Now, a seasoned witch knows I can't just attack everybody. I got to do my homework and I got to know who I'm attacking. Because if you attack the wrong person, which you have, like me, it's going to all backfire and your whole country going to pay for it. That's what happened. That's what happened. Your whole country paid for this, buddy. Oh, you didn't realize that, did you? Ow, all around. Oh, you thought it was for free. You thought it was for free. Look at your country. Do it look like it? Do it look like anything worked out for you? Do it look like it? Do it look like anything worked out? Let me tell you something. Look, all of that you've been doing backfired. It backfired to your whole country, which is the battlefield. The whole country is the battlefield. Not East Amherst. You took it, you want to play a game right here. I took it all the way up as a prophet. Now you see my chess move. And every time you move, I'm gonna make them pay. Now you see where we at. Now you see where we at. Yeah, yeah. That's what you get for playing with a prophet. You listen. You can sit up here and doubt me, and I'll take it all the way home, buddy. I love it when you doubt me. I love it when you doubt me. Because I got full leeway while you sitting up arrogant, thinking I'm doing nothing. Listen, I'll take full advantage of that, militarily speaking. But if you want to realize that I am real, and I am who I say I am, and we're manifesting nationally, I suggest you get my money. Okay? You ain't fooled nobody. I'm taking full advantage of everything you're doing. Anytime you use witchcraft against this room, it's going out, it's pumping out to your community like sewage. Like sewage going out to your community. The results, the backfiring, I guess you could say. The backfiring is like sewage going out to your community. It's a whole system I set up, buddy. I set the system up. Pumping your witchcraft back out to the community in spiritual backfire. Didn't realize that, did you? Well, you should have knew I was smart enough to know what you was doing. They down there right now in front of the building using witchcraft right now. I'm not stupid. I know that. I knew it the whole time. I used it the most of the whole time. Nobody was ignorant of this. You're a fool. You use witchcraft against a prophet. The stupidest thing you could have done, if that's a word, the stupidest thing you could have done was using witchcraft against a prophet. A prophet can manifest nationally. I'm showing you, I'm speaking your language so you understand. I can manifest nationally, where I can affect California right here. This is why prophets are not to be played with. That's why I'm trying to show you. I can manifest statewide in New York and smash New York. Like a gorilla, like King Kong, like Godzilla. I can treat your country like Godzilla, bro. Going around stepping on buildings and blowing fire. Blowing fire out my mouth, stepping on buildings, sucker. You can do no such thing. You'll be running around like the Japanese. Oh, Godzilla! I couldn't resist that one. But listen, it's no joke, man. It's no game. I meant the best way to tell a witch that you're out of league is this. Whatever you do, you can't manifest nationwide, can you? You can't? No, you can't. No, you can't. You're lucky if you manifest on an individual. You can't manifest nationwide, can you? You can't manifest internationally, can you? I don't care if you're known internationally. I didn't say if you were known nationally. Of course, some witches are known nationally, but let's not confuse the difference. Let's not confuse the difference between manifesting nationally and being known as a witch nationally. Yeah. You see that part? Do you see that part? That's how they conning people. Let's not confuse the difference between manifesting internationally and being known as a witch internationally. I don't care about that. Can you manifest internationally? Can you manifest nationally? You probably can. I'm pretty sure you can. And how we know is your kingdom would have been done it long time ago now, wouldn't they? They would have done it long time ago, wouldn't they? If witches and warlocks could manifest nationally, this country would have been destroyed already. Think about it. Think about what I'm saying. If they could manifest nationally, it would have been over a long time ago. But look, God set up a spiritual structure where witches and warlocks cannot manifest nationally. You think God just gonna let witches and warlocks manifest nationally and tear up the whole country? That's how you know it ain't happening. That's the foundation for the reason why you know it ain't happening. And they lying to you because God would not allow witches and warlocks to manifest nationally and tear up the whole country. It would have been over if they could do that. Think about it. It would have been over. You would have had crazy witches that just didn't know what they was doing and manifested nationally and destroy the whole country. They don't have this limitless power of a source of power like they project themselves in these cartoons. So you gotta separate the cartoon witch from the real witch. The real witch can't do what the cartoons do. You think she's a cartoon, don't you? Why she can't manifest nothing then? All they can talk about is the woman that was here with me and how she's not here. That's the only thing you can talk about, like, can't you? Well, she wasn't as spiritual as me. That's not even a feat. That's not even a feat. She wasn't spiritual like me. She wasn't spiritual like me. You didn't move me. I'm the one that you're trying to move, ain't you? Okay, you didn't do nothing to me. Why you think you tore my world apart, you didn't do anything to me though. And you know the context what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the technicalities of it. Not that I don't miss that person or whatever, but the technicalities is that you couldn't stop what I'm doing. That's the foundation. You couldn't stop me from giving, could you? You couldn't stop me from fasting, could you? You couldn't stop me from stop smoking, could you? You couldn't stop me from stop drinking, could you? I stopped all those things. I came all the way back up to where I was supposed to be spiritually. You couldn't stop it, could you? Now here I am with 5 months almost clean. Next month will be 5 months. In less than a week, it will be 5 months clean with no smoking, no drinking. 5 months, just like that. And the more I'm clean, the more you're in trouble. You can't manifest nationally as a witch. You can't manifest internationally as a witch. And I can manifest internationally and nationally. Now you see what all the rave is about a prophet. Now you see. Now you see why it's nothing to play with. Now look at your country from what I told you just now. Boom. Hey, you can't say I didn't warn you. I warned you. You thought I was playing. I'm manifesting internationally, man. I told you that, man. I try, and people who with a brain can see it. It's funny how the spiritual people don't know what they talk about. Even the Christians, even some of the Christians that's here, they don't even know what's going on. Then you got these so-called spiritual people, these witches who can't clearly see what's going on. It's evident to see. People, it's ironic that some people that are not even spiritual can clearly see what's going on a national level and international level. But it's the people, I'm going to tell you why. But it's the people who think they got it all spiritually. They the ones that don't believe it. You know why? Because they're jealous. They're envious. They're blinded by jealousy and envy. They're skeptical because they're used to a certain rhythm and a certain formula. You know you can't manifest on this level. You don't know what to do. You can't believe it. I told you you don't play with no prophet. The Bible says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. The Bible says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. God specifies the prophet. He specifies the prophet. He says, touch not my anointed. That's one type of person. And do my prophets no harm, right? Boom. So while you think I am some narcissistic person, some conceited, narcissistic, prideful, arrogant person, God took time to specify the prophet. What you think a prophet just manifests his knack to a person? Well, I'm just going to tell this person this. That sounds like a witch to me. A prophet talks about what God wants to, what God is saying, which in most cases is what? Nationally. And guess what else? Internationally. This is the person saying what God wants to say to the community. You think that's going to be to an individual? God is going to talk to a whole country, right or wrong. So if you go to war with someone that's used to talk to a whole country, what you think going to happen? The whole country is going to be attacked. I speak to a whole country. You don't think I can attack the whole country? You didn't think about it, did you? I got prophecies that are to the whole country and to the whole world. You don't think I can manifest internationally? You didn't think about it, did you? You didn't think about that, did you? The prophecies pertain to the nation. You don't think I can attack any nation? When you're already on a spiritual caliber of talking to a whole nation, you're not that smart, are you? You're just not that smart. That's common sense. You're already up there spiritually when you're talking on the whole country. It would be far-fetched to think the same person can manifest against a whole country. Right or wrong? You're already manifesting spiritually with prophecies that covers the whole country. It's not far-fetched of a thought that this person probably could manifest nationally. Boy, that's good. This person has international prophecies. It's not far-fetched of a thought that this person probably can manifest internationally. It's not that hard to understand. It's not a far-fetched concept, is it? When the person is already talking over a whole country and over the whole world. This is why you do not play with a prophet. I'm not some random funky witch that you're used to. That's what I try to show you. I told you time and time again. And I guess because of American culture and arrogant American culture and black arrogant American culture, you thought I was putting out empty threats. You can't hear it clearly, can you? You still think I'm putting out empty threats, don't you? That's what you thought, isn't it? That's what ear you're hearing it from, man. Empty threats, some arrogant American putting out empty threats. How you feel about that now? Do you feel like my threats are empty? Is my threats empty to you? Do it look like it's empty? I'm just saying, if just at first glance, without really thinking about it too much, do it look like my threats are empty? When I always talked about your country going through this, your country going through that, and then Donald Trump almost got his head blown off. He almost died. That man was an inch away from death. Literally. And you sitting up here acting like you in the contest with me? You can't be serious. You can't be serious. Donald Trump almost got his head blown off. And you think you're competing with me? No, man, listen. I can't get past that part. Donald Trump almost got his head blown off. Wake up, sucker. He almost got his head blown clean off. And you think that little bull crap witchcraft you using over there, you think that's playing with us. You think that's doing something to us. You riding by in car convoys, witchcraft car convoys. You think that's doing something to us. Where Donald Trump almost got his head blown off. And that's the one who you're trying to get in the White House right there. He almost got his head blown off. Bleeding all around his face and pumping his fist while he got bleeding. He got grazed by his ear. If he would have turned just a little more, y'all would still be mourning that man right now, buddy. You would be mourning him right now. showing old clips of him when he was younger. That's what you would be doing. You better wake up, little buddy. You better wake up, little witchcraft buddy. Donald Trump almost got his head blown off, buddy. I could stay right there all day. I could stay right there for the rest of the year, actually. I could stay right there for the rest of the year, actually. And you think I'm going to let suckers come out here and step out here like they still doing something? We talk about manifestations. I ain't lost track. We talk about Witch Nation. I haven't lost track. You can do no such thing, nothing close to it, and you won't do no such thing, nothing close to it for the rest of your pathetic lives. This is the difference between a witch and a prophet. We can take the head of your king if we want to. That literally is a warning shot to you Americans of what can be done to you. Do you understand me? I hope you do. I hope you do, because I'm not some random little punk witchcraft person. And I proved it. And now I am offended for you to think that you still can see me. We're talking about straight up bona fide manifestations. We ain't talking about nothing else. What you say you doing and who you say you are, I don't care about that. That's almost like posers and wannabes and wanksters. You like a witchcraft wankster. I don't care about that. We talking about manifestations. Tap for blow. That's what we talking about. We ain't talking about what you say you are, like some poser, like some wankster. We talking about what you can prove and what makes sense. Yeah, I ain't sitting up letting these suckers play around here with telepathy. Telepathy is another thing too. Telepathy and psychic power, that ain't nothing. You ain't gonna never manifest where a president almost got his head blown off, man. He almost got his head blown off. And you sitting up here with that little Harry Potter Witchcraft Academy witchcraft. You can't be serious. You can't. You in the Witchcraft Academy, ain't you? That part. You in the Witchcraft Academy, ain't you? You think this the Witchcraft Academy, don't you? We manifesting, buddy. And that's my point. That's what I'm waking up on, man. You think, and these people got the luxury of riding around like they on our level just because you wasting gas and driving around. Let's break it down. That's all you doing. All you doing is riding around, man. And you get all the respect for that? For walking around, riding around, closing doors in the building, walking through the... Anybody can do that. An old man can do that. An old man can ride a car around and walk around closing doors and walk around up and down the side sidewalk. Anybody can do that. Look, Donald Trump almost getting his head blown off, man. That's a one in a lifetime, a one in a century. There hasn't even been an attempt on the president that has been that successful since Reagan. Since Reagan. That's what they're talking about. Since Ronald Reagan. Ain't it funny? His name is Ronald and Donald. I don't know. It's just something to think about. Okay, but anyway. Ronald and Donald. Since Ronald and Donald, there has not been any... You see what I'm saying? Look, man. Look, you can't make this up. Ronald almost gets assassinated, and Donald almost gets assassinated. You didn't put that together, did you? Come on, man. Come on, look. Look, man. We manifesting. I suggest you realize and adjust. That's the word for the year for God's people. Adjust. Adjust to the realness and stop playing games with this Play-Doh witchcraft. You got Play-Doh witchcraft. Look what I built. I used 2 cans of Play-Doh to make this. You got Play-Doh witchcraft, buddy. We talking about Donald Trump almost getting his head clean off, buddy. And people dying still, and somebody died at that rally. They still dead. Their family still mourning them. They're traumatized. They still thinking about the whole thing. Their whole family still thinking about it. You can't be serious. We're going to separate these suckers from what God is doing. This Harry Potter Academy witchcraft. Okay, I know exactly what type of people they are. These witchy little people that think they're doing something. These little witchy people that enjoy doing witchcraft. You are nothing. We're talking about Donald Trump almost getting his head blowed off. And you some funky random witch. A dime a dozen. You a dime a dozen, man. Stop playing. You're a dime a dozen. That's how you need to hear it. It's pathetic. We talking about real manifestations, not no back and forth with how you go. In order for there to be a back and forth, you have to do something. In order for there to be a contest, you got to do something. What you doing? Riding around? Well, that's not what I'm doing. If we both was riding around, then it would be, you could say that's a contest. I'm not doing. We are manifesting to where Donald Trump almost getting his head blowed off. That's what we talking about. What you doing? What you doing? Riding around, walking around. Let's call it all out, guys. What they doing? What are they doing? That's what real ones do. That's what real gangsters do. I call you out on everything you say you are. We're going to pick it all apart and say, okay, you did this crime, you did that crime. Okay, what you doing? When have you ever did anything? What kind of crimes have you actually done? What kind of things have you actually done? I'm doing the same thing a thug or a gangster would do. What manifestations have these witches done? What can we look at and say that they have done that's just as close to what I'm doing? Nothing. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. You show me. You show me what they doing. They posing, man. They riding off of my waves, man. That's what I'm trying to show you. It's no different than a wankster going to war with a real gangster. You got the privilege of acting like you on that level of that gangster, but you ain't a gangster. But you acting like you beefing with one. It's the same thing. You don't manifest on our level. But you acting like you beefing with me. We calling it out. You ain't beefing with me. You ain't doing nothing. That's what we talking about, man. And it's too late. It's too late. It's too late to do something. We just won. Donald Trump almost got his head blowed off. And y'all trying to trivialize that. They gotta downgrade it. They gotta try to make it look like something else. But let's stay in the God lane. Let's stay in these godly lanes where we know that's an extreme powerful manifestation. Let's stay clear-minded with all this foolishness going around. That is an incredible manifestation. Where Donald Trump, who they depending on, it'd be one thing if they wasn't dependent on this man. They depending on him to get in the White House and do something about these migrants and other things. That's who they depending on. He almost got his head blowed off, the one that they depending on. That's what I'm trying to show you. You can't trivialize that based on that information, based on that perspective, based on that reality where the country is waiting for him to get in there and he almost got his head blowed off. That's what I'm trying to show. That's where it's at. And you a goofy little person. And see, did you watch him after that happened? Look how they been acting after that happened. The same stuff. Listen, that's a cartoon, bro. That's a cartoon. Listen, I rest my case. That's a cartoon, man. That's a cartoon. Okay? That they can sit up and watch stuff like that and think it means nothing. When that's a matter of what person you have in the White House or not. The main one you wanted. It's a matter of if he's in there or not. What happened to him this month right here? Look, man, look, bro. Look. You just overbuilt yourself. That's what I'm trying to show you. Now we turned up and warmed up. Look, and you don't know what to do with yourself. I told you what to do with yourself. I told you to go get my money. Because it ain't going to stop. It ain't going to stop, man. We ain't going to stop manifesting, and it ain't going to stop. And we ain't scared to die, and I'm not going to die. And ain't nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is get my money. Whatever money you got, that can be sufficient for right now. Go get my money. If you got any, that should be mine. If you have any money, that money should be my money. That ain't extortion. That's justice. You played with a man of God. You played with a prophet. You didn't know what you was doing. You a sucker. You pay for it. You pay for it like a sucker should. Okay, it's simple as that. This is real. This is real. Unlike you. Donald Trump almost got his head blown off. Somebody died at that rally. That happened. Joe Biden is no longer running for president. That happened. And guess what? Guess what? Because there's people that's always skeptical of this kind of stuff. They still skeptical, ain't they? I speak as a prophet. The manifestations are going to come to a place where you cannot deny what's going on. You're not going to be able to deny it anymore. The next level we're about to hit next, you ain't going to be able to deny this. You ain't going to be able to be skeptical about what's happening, what's going to happen next. Oh, you'll see. Listen, Donald Trump ain't got to die. It shows you how we manifested. It ain't got to happen. We ain't got to have that happen. We only got to be after that like that. If you thought that, we ain't got to be after his life like that for what? I don't care if he wins or loses. I don't care if he lives or whatever. It doesn't matter. You're doomed either way as a community. So am I after Donald Trump per se? Like I just wake up to get Donald Trump? Listen, bro. That is the leader, and I'm telling you, I'm not even focused on that person like that. That is your leader that you're looking forward to, and I'm not even focused on him. The whole country is the battlefield. The whole thing. Now you see where you fit in? Nowhere. Nowhere. You fit in nowhere. You are a loser, witchcraft person. Okay? You're playing with Legos. Listen, you playing with Legos and Play-Doh, buddy. That's what you're doing. You cannot see us at all, man. Okay? Donald Trump almost got his head blown off. Joe Biden dropped out. Look at all this stuff that's happening. You're going to see celebrities go through stuff too. Watch. You're going to see some of these famous celebrities that go through stuff, and you're going to see them, and it's going to blow your mind when they're dead. People that you thought would never die. You're going to look up and see people dying that you ain't never thought would die. Because the spirit of death is all across this country. Which means those spirits don't play fair. Those spirits don't sit back and say, I just take this one. Yeah, I'll take that one with I'll take that one with a big soda. Yeah, I'll take that number 5 with a Those spirits gonna take whoever they can. They gonna take once they get started, which I told people, when COVID came, that was the killing machine. The killing machine was COVID. Once COVID came, those demons were thirsty for more. They're not gonna stop. They had too much fun with COVID. You see how many people were dying going to hell? Every day. That was a spiritual, how do I put it? That was like a spiritual continuous event of people dying and going to hell. Those spirits thirsty for more. When thousands of people were burning and going to hell every day. Those spirits want that to keep that going. Those spirits want to keep that going. They're going to keep it going. They're going to manipulate. As soon as I seen that, I knew as a spiritual person, those spirits are going to manipulate to bring about more death like that. They ain't going to stop. You don't feed the devils like that, right? And think it's going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Okay? So we don't care. So see, you see what psychological war ranks at? That's nothing. We don't care about nothing that's on people's mind. We don't care about what you think about what's on my mind. You are going to die if you're playing with me and burn in hell. Okay? And I don't need no other preachers to stand with me. I'm my own man. I don't need no preachers to co-sign me. I can go without any cosign. I'm a prophet. I can stand right here. I can stand in the wilderness and know that I'm with God. And a prophet don't need nobody else to cosign that. I don't need them to do it. It's apparently clear from all these manifestations that God is doing. Glory to his name. All these manifestations that he's doing to destroy my enemies. It's common sense that he's with me. You don't need nobody to come and co-sign that. You don't need that. All you need is spiritual eyes to see and spiritual ears to hear. That's all you need. And put down your foolish, pathetic arrogance, thinking you can beat me. You cannot be the prophet. Like I said, you're working with Play-Doh and Legos. Okay? I am working with real spiritual manifestations. Glory to Yahweh. As I play my position. I co-labor with the Lord. That's what prophets do. I co-labor with God. I play my position as the position I'm supposed to play. And things manifest in this nation. And see, and Christians don't know no better this year. These American Christians, no, you don't know no better. You sit up and say, well, God's gonna do what he wants to do. I don't gotta really do nothing. Or God is doing everything. God gives you a position to play. You look at the Bible, Daniel fasted for 21 days, didn't he? And the spirit, the angel came and said that the prince of Persia prevented the angel. Okay, so then you play a position to continue to fast and continue to pray. God does things and we do things. Okay, if God could do everything, and he can, let's put it like this. If the format was God doing everything, then what's the need for you to fast and pray? If God could just do it all and manifest everything, he can. Don't get me wrong. But if that's his format, that's not his format to do it. His format is that you play a part so that you co-labor with God. And you get spiritual manhood out of it. You get spiritual womanhood out of it. Playing your position. He allows you to play your position. He allows you to play a position in this situation. It's an honor. Now you see what I'm saying? He gives you manhood out of it. You work for it. You see what you've done. You see the part you played. You can clearly see when you're fasting what happens in the manifestations. He allows you to play a part. And get human some glory as the servant of God, not his glory as the servant of God. Because if God's format is you play a position, because if not, you could just fast. Why fast then? Why fast? Why pray? If that's the format of God doing everything and you do nothing, this is what religious people think. That's why they get nothing. Then what's the need to pray and fast? You see what I'm saying? If your position doesn't determine anything, then why do it? Why fast if your position doesn't determine anything? Now that's what makes you understand. If I play this position intensely, I can get a lot of stuff done. Yes. Instead of sitting back thinking God is going to do it without you doing anything, that's not his format. The Bible says without faith it is impossible to please God. That's his format. Faith without works is dead. That's his format. That's his format. That's how he does it. Okay? Now, if God could just do it, and that was his format, then you wouldn't have to do anything. You wouldn't have to have faith. You wouldn't have to do anything. He would just see you and just do stuff. But you have to get involved, which qualifies you for deserving it. You get involved, which qualifies you to be in that spiritual position, to receive it, to walk in the blessings. You have to qualify yourself through faith. Now you won't mess up. You won't be getting all this stuff, but without faith and just walking around in a whole different carnal area, and you ain't even spiritual, getting all these blessings from God. God just giving stuff to you. Now think about that. If he did all humanity like that, and you just get this and you get this stuff, and these people just get what they need, but you're not a spiritual person. You're not qualifying yourself from faith to glory to glory, right? You're not going from faith to glory, right? You're not doing that. then how would you will mishandle the blessings. You will mishandle the realms and the levels that you're on. You will mishandle everything. Your faith qualifies you, and you then will not mishandle everything you're given. You won't mishandle nothing because you've been fasting. You've been seeking the Lord. Then, it happens. You ain't going to mishandle that, buddy. You ain't going to mishandle that. That's what I'm trying to show you. That's what I'm trying to show you. We got to stop letting goofy people use telepathy and this wizardry like Zelda, but they're not manifesting nothing. They think that they're doing something on a high level because they playing around your brain. That don't mean nothing. That's what I'm trying to show you. That doesn't, what does it mean? Nothing. It's not doing anything. We showed them how Donald Trump almost get his head blown off, and they still can walk around doing little wizardry stuff. Man, listen, man. Like I told you, these Americans have arrogance. Even in witchcraft, they're arrogant people. Do you see it? Do you see that? Anything that's American, even a witch, is nothing. It's destroyed from arrogance. If you are arrogant, you can't do nothing. You're too arrogant to do anything. And they're not manifesting. See, when you're arrogant, you're blind to the truth, because the arrogance is going to make you look at, create all these false realities. Like you're somebody, like you're doing something. You're not doing anything. Now, when you start doing stuff as a man or woman of God, you have to make sure you're not arrogant. And you won't be perfect. But you have to make sure that you don't walk in arrogance. Now, you can be bold, because we don't see that in America. We don't see real masculine men. They got muscles and everything, but their soul ain't bold, is it? They don't have no masculinity in their soul. I ain't talking about how the bass in their voice. I ain't talking about being a baritone. I'm talking about you being intellectually masculine, standing up and thinking for yourself in this society. You let them think for you, don't you? That's not intellectual masculinity. It's not. And so you're never good. You're never good with me, because see, you another one that tried to create this format and it doesn't work. This format of you're with me on my side, you're a roach. I'm a prophet. I don't need you. You don't serve any purpose for me. See, prophets are different. We're different. We stand on our own. We don't need anybody. As far as getting the job done, what we're trying to do, as far as spiritual warfare, okay? I need God's true people. I stand with God's true people. But these eavesdroppers, these people that play an old stale position that was created kind of subconscious. There was some sub position created as a byproduct of the enemies playing with me, and you came in and thought you could eavesdrop in the whole situation. Your position is a byproduct of the whole situation. Your position of playing around, eavesdropping, is an old stale byproduct of the enemy playing around with me. You came around and tried to investigate from whatever stale angle you wanted to come from, right? That is not justified by God or me. So that's for people to sit back talking about, yeah, this, that, no, listen, buddy, listen. You are a byproduct of the enemy, not me. I didn't summon you here. I didn't tell you to come listen to me. You did that based on the enemy playing a certain position, and you chose another position from the enemy. So you're not smart enough to get it, are you? That's why you shouldn't be here. You're not smart enough to be here. You got byproducts. You are in a byproducts position. You got a byproduct position where you looked at the enemy and say, well, I'll choose this position. I won't do what they're doing, but I'll listen and try to be on his side. That's still a byproduct position from their position, not from me. I didn't give you that position. I wouldn't create a byproduct where you're just listening to me, doing nothing. That's why we don't create like that. So that's how I know your position is a byproduct of the enemy. Because the position I would give you will produce something for me. It's not producing anything for me. Therefore, I curse it. Jesus Christ cursed the fig tree because it had no figs on it. It did not produce. Jesus Christ cursed it and it dried up. If you do not produce nothing, you are cursed. Okay? In this situation, I don't care what you talk about. You don't produce nothing for me. So why should I have you around listening? Because you're listening as if my life is in your hands, and it's not. That's it right there. That's a 7 hour. You listening like as if my life is in your hand. My life ain't in your hands. You can't do nothing to me. We're manifesting internationally. You'll get it. You'll start to see. We're international. We're manifesting nationally and internationally. Why you think my life is in your hands? When Donald Trump is almost getting his head blown off, you think my life is in your hands. See, that's the position you think you in when you talking. That's for black people. You the main one. Sitting back talking, right? Thinking my life is in your hands. My life is not in your hands. You done lost your crack smoking mind, man. You might as well be smoking crack. You acting like it. You looking like it. You're thinking like it. Look, man, my life is in God's hands. I'm sorry you thought that at some point you could kill me and you never could. You never could. That's a fantasy. You never could kill me. But you thought you could. So subconsciously, you think you have something over me as if we let you live. You didn't let me live. Look, you didn't let me live. God let me live. In other words, you're boasting of something you could not perform. You could have never killed me. But you're boasting as if you could have. You couldn't have never killed me, because when you would have tried to perform it, it wouldn't have happened. You don't get it, do you? You don't get it. It wouldn't have happened. I don't care what you're talking about. It wouldn't have never happened. So then you need to stop saying, you let me live before God destroy you. Because now you acting like you was a threat to me, and you acting like you could have did something to me, and that's why your country is dying now. Because you acting like you pose a threat to a prophet. That part, where you act like you pose a threat to me, you don't pose no threat to me. You are no threat to me. That's what my level of faith is. You are no threat to me. We manifested to where people getting their heads blowed off, who you depending on to be the president. They almost getting their head blowed off. Joe Biden dropping out the race. Now you got Kamala Harris. You don't know what that's gonna produce. Just because she's a woman, and because she's she make y'all think she's cool and all of that. What that got to do with her doing her job? That's not even nothing personal. What do her job got to do with how she look and her being a woman? It don't matter. She got to get in there and be able to do something about Israel. The minister, Prime Minister Netanyahu, however you say his name, for Israel, the leader of Israel, that man already don't like how she talking already. He already don't like how she talking. He don't like it. That's supposed to be y'all ally right there. He don't like how y'all talking. He don't like how she talking. And how she gonna handle the situation in the Ukraine? Look at these major wars. How's she gonna handle these major wars? That's what you need to look at. The migrant situation. How's she gonna handle the migrant situation? Those are the three things. Those are the three things you need to look at: the Russian war, the war in Israel, and the migrant war. I guarantee you. Listen, I guarantee you, nothing significantly will be done. I guarantee she might not totally fail, but she ain't gonna do nothing significant. Nothing significant is going to be done. It don't bother me. Listen, it don't bother me who's in there or not. I don't care. I am so confident that whoever is in there is not going to change what God's kingdom is doing. that it don't even matter who's in there. I don't even care. I've been said that before she even came on the scene. I don't care who's in there because I'm looking at the streets. I'm looking at how crazy these people is, and I know none of these politicians are going to be able to do anything about it. They ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. The police can't do nothing about it. What they gonna do? The police can't stop all this stuff going on. The police can't. The only thing that could is the legal system, the law system. Bring it, give it more harder charges for crimes, and they're not gonna do that because they're gonna feel like it's stereotyping black people, and they're not gonna they're not gonna put out the best charges they need to put out on all these killings when it involves children and senseless killings. They ain't gonna give them 20 years with no chance of parole. No, they're not. Because they're gonna feel like that's stereotyping and targeting black people. They're gonna feel like that's targeting black people. That's why y'all never are going to produce the laws that you need to produce. You're never going to produce these laws because if you do intensify the punishment to severe punishment with the laws, there's going to be a whole bunch of naysayers that's going to say that these laws are targeting black people. No, it's targeting the crime. If you don't do it, you don't get targeted as a black person. It targets the person that's doing it. You get it? I hope you do. I hope you do. If you black and you ain't doing it, then they ain't targeting you. How is it targeting you and you ain't doing it? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. I make too much sense. Come on, man. Come on. It's only targeting you if you're doing it, buddy. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to target the person that's doing it. Severe punishment is supposed to target the person that's doing it. Obviously. Don't sound like a moron. Don't be a moron. Okay? Don't be a moron. By principle, severe punishment targets the person that's doing it. The severe punishment that you get for a specific crime, you are getting that severe punishment because you did that specific crime, and you're being targeted with severe punishment because you did that specific crime. That's why you're being targeted, not because you're black. In that case. But they're never going to do it because they would feel that that's targeting black people. That's why they ain't gonna do it. And if you're not, if you sit back and let black people kill each other for another 20 years, you ain't gonna have nothing here. You ain't gonna have nothing here. I'm telling you. This stuff is turned up, man. It's on fire. You ain't gonna have nothing. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Severe punishment is the only way to survive. And your lawmakers, even including Kamala Harris, she's not going to do what it takes to bring severe punishment to these criminals. She's too deep in the culture. She's too deep in the culture. She's too deep in the black culture. She is not going to produce she is not going to produce laws that stop all this black killing of children and people. That's what needs to be produced. That's the only way America can change. It's not going to change by taking away guns. Criminals will find any way to do a crime. A crazy person will use a pole, they'll use anything. They'll use anything. They'll take sticks and sharpen the sticks like arrows. They'll take anything. They can make their own guns. You forgot about that? Ghost guns, they call them. They can make their own guns. What about that part? What about the other countries that will still bring in a black market of guns? There's no way you can stop it. Just what I just said right there. Look, other countries can bring in a black market of guns. How you gonna stop that? As long as there's any drug dealer knows, or any hustler knows, as long as there's a demand, listen, there's going to be a hustler. As long as there's a demand for anything, there's going to be somebody that feels that demand. I promise you that. I promise you that. Any drug dealer knows that. Any hustler knows. As long as there's a demand for something, there's going to be someone that's going to get that money. If y'all take away the guns, all they gonna do is America's gonna do the streets. All they gonna do is go to the black market. That's all they gonna do. And listen, just like we can't explain how all this cocaine get in here undetected, you won't be able to explain how all these guns get in here undetected. It's no way in the world you can stop it with the black market. In fact, you can't stop nothing that's going on because of the black market. You would think that makes sense, right? How you gonna stop crime with the black market? The black market is gonna keep the crime going. You gotta stop the black market to stop crime, and you ain't gonna do that in your lifetime. You ain't gonna do that in your lifetime. You're not gonna do it. The only way therefore, taking away guns or thinking guns is just gonna go away is not the solution. The solution is bringing severe punishment, and that gets into the psyche of the people, and they stop doing the crimes altogether. That's the only way. That's the only way. And you're not gonna do that because you are too biased to black people and the people that's doing the crimes. As a country, you're too biased towards black people. You ain't gonna produce the crimes, the severe punishment behind the crimes that black people is doing because you're too biased towards black people. That's why you ain't doing it. If it would have been another country, the black people would have been in trouble. They would have been in trouble. They would have already produced the necessary severe punishment for them. And they wouldn't have called it racism. They would look at you like you crazy. How is it racism when you're doing it? And I need to produce severe punishment for what you're doing. How is that racism? You doing it. You put yourself in that situation. And the only thing that's going to change you from doing it is severe punishment. Obviously. Because you don't see, you go do these charges. You don't see no punishment in it. You go do these charges like it ain't nothing. You go do these sentences like it's nothing. So I have to take up the severe punishment in order to change your psychology. In order to change the psychology of the crime underworld, you have to uptick severe punishment. That's the only way. That's the only way. You sitting back waiting for the world to change. Like that song. I hate that song. Waiting on the world to change. Oh, okay, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath waiting on the world to change. Because it ain't going to change on its own, buddy. You know how it's going to change? You know how it's going to change? I hate that song. Because it's so unrealistic. That's why I hate it. Waiting on the world to change. How you waiting on, and that explains half of y'all mentality. You waiting on the world to change. Good luck with that. Good luck with waiting on the world to change. Now you see where we at. All this crime, all this killing, and you waiting on the world to change. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, buddy. I promise you it ain't. I promise you it can get worse. You think anybody's saying, oh well, I think it's getting bad. I think we should slow down a little bit. Nobody's slowing down, are there? There's nobody slowing down, is it? Nobody's slowing down, are they? How's the world gonna change? Severe punishment. That's how it changes. I guarantee you, if I give you 20 years with no chance of parole, I guarantee you won't do nothing. I guarantee you, listen, you'll fear me, buddy. You'll fear my leadership. I give you 20 years and you listen, you won't sneeze, you won't even fart wrong. You'll hold your farts. Well, maybe they won't like this fart. It kind of stinks. They might not like this one. They might not like this fart. Hey, you won't even fart wrong with 20 years with no chance of parole, buddy. That's how you do it. Ain't no other way. So you can't act like I ain't a leader. Because I got a whole blueprint that none of your pathetic leaders are producing. And you know why? They too busy being biased towards black people. That's why they ain't going to ever change it. That's why it's never going to change. They too busy brown-nosing black people. That's what it is. Whether it's the celebrities or the streets or the music or whatever it used to be or whatever it is, they too busy brown-nosing everybody. That's the politicians. That's just the politicians. That's the politicians, the Kamala Harrises of the world, the Obamas of the world. They're not going to change. They're not going to do anything because they're too biased towards black people. Black people, black people got them wrapped around their fingers. They wrapped around black people's fingers. The Obamas are wrapped around black people's fingers. Kamala Harris, you can tell to look at her, she's wrapped around black people's fingers. She ain't gonna do nothing about that stuff going on. She ain't gonna do nothing about it. So y'all can have her. I guarantee you she ain't gonna do nothing. I guarantee you she ain't gonna come up and make some severe punishment for black laws. I mean black crimes. She ain't gonna do nothing about that. She's not gonna do anything about it. Therefore, in her administration, I guarantee you everything is gonna stay the same. Everything's gonna stay as it is right now. On ground level, you still suffer. On ground level, you still got threats, don't you? You know why? Because you have not made severe punishment by law. It's the only way to the future. You can't sit up and let people kill senselessly as they are doing, and you do not make severe punishment. How are you gonna change it? I guess you don't really want to do it, do you? I guess you don't really want to change it, do you? I guess not. I guess it don't really matter. It's just like this maniac psycho type of thing where you crying about it, but you ain't doing nothing about it. You crying about it, I'm showing you what to do. So you're looking like you're insane, sitting up crying about something, doing the same thing, expecting different results. You're doing nothing about it. You don't have different. You're not doing anything differently. You have to make severe punishment. That's all. That's the only way to the future. Guns, taking guns. You still got the black market. Okay, so you can't buy them at the store. The thugs never went to buy them at the store anyway. Ow. And are you getting all the guns off the streets? No, you didn't, did you? So if you change all these laws about registered guns, who cares about them? What thug is going to say, well, I need about 5 registered guns where I can be tracked for doing crimes? Thugs do not buy registered guns anyway. Idiots. So if you change registered gun laws, so what? You do background checks, the thugs are not coming there. The only way a thug is getting a registered gun is for the house. When he can shoot somebody in the house and get away with it. The only reason a gangster is getting registered guns is for the house. So other than that, why a thug gonna get a registered gun and go out and sell drugs with a gun? A registered gun. That's why we never thought about registered guns. I never thought about it. I never did. I can count on one hand how many times I thought about getting a registered gun. What, you're doing wrong? Why you gonna get a registered gun for it? With that being said, that's not gonna change the streets. The streets ain't getting registered guns. The streets ain't going to no gun shop. The streets is going to a black market. So how is gun laws going to change the streets? Because the gun laws are only going to affect background checks and guns being bought, these certain type of assault rifles that you still can get on the streets. It's only going to stop the purchasing of guns in the marketplace. That's it. Or the process of purchasing goods in the marketplace. It's gonna affect that. How the process of it, the background checks, you know what I'm saying? That's running your criminal background and all of that. That's the only thing that's going to affect when you make changes with the gun laws. The black market is still there. That's all criminals gonna do is go to the black market. That's what they've been doing. Ain't no thugs going to no. Ain't no felons are going to the. They can't go to the gun shops. How a felon gonna go to the gun shop, buddy? So what is a felon gonna do to get a gun? He gonna go to the black market, of course, man. Of course. If you know you're doing wrong with a gun, why you gonna go get a registered gun? What they can see is clearly your gun if you toss it. Once you do a crime, you toss the gun eventually, or you get rid of it, you sell it on the streets, it done cost some bodies. They gonna trace it back to you. Because from my understanding, there's a unique stamping that goes on the shells or the cases of the cases of the bullets to where they know where that gun come from. Right? Ultimately, if you toss the gun, they're gonna know where it came from. That's facts there. That's facts there. That's facts, right? Now maybe the stamping on the cases, I don't know how true that part is. But you can scrape off the serial numbers. You can scrape that off. But they probably got some unique other way of identifying that Pacific gun because of people scraping off serial numbers. They got some other unique way, I guarantee you, these days, especially with the new guns being made. They got new unique ways of identifying that gun to the to the person that registered it. They got a unique way of doing it. I guarantee you that. So if I were going to do anything illegal, I ain't gonna be paranoid about what I did with a registered gun. You crazy. No way, Jose, man. I'm going to the black market. So gun laws are never going to affect that. It's never going to affect the black market. And if you stop it here in America, all the streets is going to do is go to other countries to get and get guns from the black market there. You cannot stop that. That's like saying I can stop cocaine. Can you totally stop cocaine? No. How? How are you going to totally stop it? So how are you going to totally stop guns? You can't. There's always a market for it, and there's always somebody willing to get that money. That's how it works. That's how the whole criminal underworld works, is demand. Filling demands of the community, whatever it is. That's why fentanyl, they don't care what fentanyl is, as long as there's a demand for it. If there's some demand for it, there's hustlers that's going to fulfill that demand. That's all it is. Supply to demand. That's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? They're going to supply to that demand. That's how it works. If somebody out here want guns, that's what they're going to have. That's what they're going to have. And they're going to have a certain type of guns. They make Dracos illegal. You never know. If they make Dracos illegal, they're going to get them on the streets. They're going to get Dracos they're going to get Dracos on the black market. That's how it works, man. So the only way you can affect the streets is severe punishment. The only way you can stop getting these kids killed is not playing with these gun laws when they can simply just, in a cartoon fashion, I'll just go to the black market. Now you got a gun. Okay? That's all. It's that simple. It's that simple, bro. So how are you gonna affect the streets with gun laws when it don't apply to them? When they ain't getting their guns from these gun shops? The only way is through severe punishment. That's the only way is through severe punishment. The severe punishment is what's gonna change everything. Because when it comes to kids being killed and it comes to senseless old people being killed, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing gangster about that, bro. Ain't nothing real about that. You know what I'm saying? Not even from a soldier or a thug or a gangster's perspective. Nah, If that's your kid, you think it's gangster? Your kid got killed? If your kid get killed, you think it's gangster? You don't think it's gangster. You hate everybody. You hate all black people now because your kid got killed. You think all these black people out here love black people after somebody black them took their kid? Secretly, they hate black people. And I guarantee you this, they secretly hate them street people. They secretly hate them. If they don't hate all black people, they secretly hate the streets. Come on, man. You can't be that naive to think everybody forgives. They hate the streets because of it taking their kids. Innocent kids. Not even kids out here selling drugs or nothing. Kids just playing. You don't think that's going to bring animosity to people that's doing it? Every time you step outside, you see people out there. You're gonna have animosity in your heart. The only way you can change that is through severe punishment. That's what I'm trying to show you. See, that's why me and witches are on two different levels and lanes. You could not compare to me. You see what I just showed you? You see that part right there? You can never compare to me as a witch or a warlock. See, the Queen of Voodoo, Marie Laveau, she was involved not just in witchcraft, she was involved in public affairs, and she was a religious leader. Okay? You claim to be like her caliber, the Queen of Voodoo. Listen, some of you do. Some of you insinuated or thinking subconsciously that you like her. Listen, you're not. You're not. And I'm not saying I'm not celebrating her legacy per se, but you are not like her. That's the truth. I talk on public affairs. I am a spiritual leader. Okay? You just walk around in the Harry Potter Academy. That's what you doing. You can't see me, bro. You see how I just fixed everything? What I just said fixed everything. That's what the prophet does. That's what the prophet does, buddy. Glory to Yahweh. You ain't on my level. You could not produce any intellectual property worth revisiting. Nobody ain't gonna revisit nothing you say. And you think you in my lane. You can't be serious. And keep in mind, we're manifesting on top of this information, on top of solutions that I got. God's kingdom is a real government. We can manifest a government. You witchcraft people can manifest nothing.